Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, Divinely Transformed. Whether you're new or returning, I'm glad that you're here. My name is Lisa, and this is a special video, and this is like a part 2 to the one that I just put out a little bit ago today. But what does it mean to be high vibrational? Okay. And in this video, I will explore what it means to be both high vibe and low vibe. And I'll explain all of that. So let me start off by just laying the groundwork that every living being is energy. And every living being generates an energy or a frequency. It's the same thing. Interchangeably, it's the same thing. Energy is frequency because all living beings generate frequency. And depending on what vibration we vibrate at, that dictates how elevated we are. Inanimate objects such as money is energy. Because we use it and it's needed and it elevates. So it's energy, all right? It's just another form of it. So not everything that is alive per se generates a vibration, but for the most part, that is true. That it's mostly living beings that generate frequency, but it can be anything. So what does it mean to be high vibrational? Always striving to be your best self at any given moment. And that's where the previous video comes in, where it's time-stamped by signs, to where you could pull up your birth chart, you find out all the signs that are in your birth chart, and then find out the high vibrational traits of those, and or how you can use all of those traits when harnessed correctly for your highest good and for the highest good of others around you. It also means that you're coming from a place of self-love, compassion, and excitement for life. And the reason why unconditional love for others isn't included in this, because the reason it's not included is because not everyone is able to love us appropriately, right? And when that happens, it is for our own self-love and compassion for ourselves that we step away from those situations, because those situations hurt us. And then whenever we remove ourselves from those situations, all of those negative feelings that we felt by those around us that we've since let go of, then that energy that left you goes to them. But that's another video that needs to be explained a little bit more thoroughly than I'm going to in this video. But that's just a general. So that's why it's not included of others, because when others mistreat us, it is our personal responsibility to have that self-love and compassion to do whatever it takes to protect ourselves in the best way possible. It also means taking responsibility for your own life. I have a video about personal responsibility and how important it is. And to be honest with you, it's the one teaching video that gets the least amount of views. No one wants to hear about personal responsibility. But it is our personal responsibility to keep our vibrations high, because that is the only way that we're going to be successful in this life, on this earth. And it also means not succumbing to being pulled into outside situations, other people's dramas, and just different types of crises. You know, being able to stay calm in these situations, being able to not respond negatively whenever you're being met with opposition and negativity and whatever the case is. So that's what it means to be high vibrational. The higher your vibe is, the lower vibrational energies aren't even going to bother you, and it's not going to affect you, because when you're vibrating higher, that lower negativity stuff down here, it's not getting to you because you're not there. So it's not hitting you because you're here. You're not here. And that's what it means by it doesn't even faze you. It doesn't even bother you, because you're not in the place of attack. You're above it. You can see it sometimes if you're paying attention to it, but it's not affecting you because your vibration's here and their attacks are down here. So if it's missing you and it's not going where it needs, where the direction's not intended to go, it has nowhere else to go but back to the sender of this negativity. What does it mean to be low vibrational? Because we have to know what it means to be low vibrational, because obviously we're doing the opposite of that when we are purposely and consciously raising our vibration. It's operating from ego, fear, anger, weakness, envy, jealousy. It's also dealing with toxic people, dealing with toxic partnerships, whether they be your family, your children, your partners, your husband, wife, girlfriend, your significant partner, whether they're your best friends that you've had forever. These are the people that you deal with on a day-to-day that do nothing but cause trouble for themselves and for everyone around them. And when you deal with them, when you are in cooperation and you work with them, you share karma with those individuals. And you end up feeling worse and worse and worse until you release it, or release them, or both. And it's good to do both. So that's why cutting etheric cards are sometimes appropriate when you're dealing with significant people around you that have been a significant part of your life for a significant period of time. Those are the people that you need to cut the etheric cords with, because those are the connections that are the strongest. And when they're low vibrational and strong like that, sometimes, that is the only way that you can protect yourself, because even when they don't have physical access to you, then they can still get to you energetically. So I discussed that in more detail in the sex video and cutting the etheric cords. So I'll leave the playlist in the description below, and all of these instructional videos are in the playlist, and then you can pick and choose through the playlist of what you think you might need to hear. And it just saves me a lot of time in links for you too. So I discovered the playlist. Other forms of low vibrational energies are electronics. Like if you live on the grid and you are dependent on the grid, like you're all about your computers, you're all about your video games, you're all about your TV programs, you're all about this and you're all about that, and it's all electronic. Now, the danger to this, obviously, is like mental health issues, epilepsy issues. I mean, the issues are wide, okay? But those are like the most serious issues. But it's also not really widely talked about, but it's just as serious of an issue, if not more serious, is the addiction that we have to electronics. Because we're so dependent on electronics, right? We can become addicted to them. And truthfully, if we're living the way that we're supposed to be living, myself included, we shouldn't need electronics. But it's the way of life. It's the way that things are. And so it is a necessary need, for a lot of things. So since that's the case, we have to learn moderation. And a lot of us are just so immersed in our electronics. And, there have been a period of times where it's happened to me myself. You just kind of go crazy and you lose touch with reality, and you're not treating people right because all you're doing and all your focus is on your electronic at hand. So be mindful of that. Obsession, also another component to low vibrational energies. Another form of low vibrational energies is arguments and fights, drama, competition. People who just want to start shit for whatever their reasons are. This is low vibrational. This is bullshit. Like, all of this is bullshit. And this is why we need to love ourselves enough to firmly distance ourselves from people, places, and things that provide this bullshit to us, right? Because, for example, you're in a room with your best friend or whoever you're closest to. Could be your mom, could be your best friend, could be your sibling, your partner, whatever the case is. And you start gossiping about other people. All right? Gossip is low vibrational. You should never be talking about other people in a bad way. Unless you're lifting them up. But even then, I was recently told that even when you are complimenting someone when they're not there, okay, so for example, I'm in a room and I'm talking to my mom, for an example, and I say, well, I'm really proud of so-and-so. They've really done this, that, and the third, and they've really done a lot to improve themselves. But I'm not saying that my mom is like this, but it could go this way at any given time. But say for example, my mom's having a bad day, and my mom's feeling like, I don't really feel like hearing about all this good shit that's happening about or to someone else right now because I'm dealing with my own shit. All right. That's just one example, and it happens a lot. So then there is negativity that is involved, and then it pushes negativity onto the person that you're talking about that wasn't there, right? See, and they accidentally get a little bit of spiritual warfare because there's conflicting energy. One person's elevating and another person's like blocking it or trying to de-elevate it in whatever way that they're doing it in. Sometimes it's obvious and other times it is just a subtle thing. So just keep that in mind. And it was something that I had never considered before until a very new and dear friend pointed that out to me. So I thought that needed to be said. Violence. Violence is low vibrational. Violence in all forms, whether you're lashing out at somebody, or whether you're hitting somebody, or whether you're being passive aggressive and you are getting revenge to get back at somebody. It's all low vibrational and should be avoided because it comes right back on you eventually. Whether it's right away or in time, all of that you put out comes back to you in negative karma. Drugs and alcohol, low vibrational. It's because it messes with your etheric energy, and different drugs do it in different ways. Alcohol is especially like whenever it's liquor. It's also, another word for that is spirits. When you drink alcohol, you are ingesting spirits, whether they're good or bad. And most of them are low vibrational spirits. And that's why people get blackout drunk and they do shit that they don't remember, because whenever they get intoxicated, depending on the level of drunkenness that they're in, spirits come in and take over a little bit or completely. So drugs essentially do the same thing, but it takes less drugs to do that typically than it does for alcohol. But it works similar because that's basically what it does. And another form of low vibrational is manipulation and control of others and things and places outside of yourself, like to an extreme. People with major control issues. You'll find this in people who are workaholics, people who are commitment phobes, people who have eating disorders, people who have substance abuse problems, people who have had bad experiences with toxic people and they didn't heal themselves. They just let themselves go. Any and all of these things and more can cause people to go into control freak mode and overtly or covertly manipulate people, places, and things for their own benefit and personal gain. And that's very low vibrational, it's very greedy, and it's very wrong, because this messes with people's free will a lot of times. So, and it manipulation is a form of energetic witchcraft. Bottom line, that's all it is. Manipulation of others is energetic witchcraft. And it interferes with the free will of another person. And when people do that, they gain karma for that. And I am no stranger to that myself, because funnily enough, I was a person who believed in freedom and would fight for freedom, or or should I say, wishing to fight for freedom, because really I was doing it all wrong if I was doing it at all. Because some of the time I was too scared to step up, honestly. But I was so focused on the oppression and the control of others in the most severe and radical form that I failed to see that in myself. And for the longest time, I always thought that I was seeing that in people because it was just wrong. No, it turns out I was seeing that in other people to the extreme because I had that within myself. It was a projection of an insecurity of mine. See, that's just one example of what projections are. And what's inside reflects on the outside. And you'll find that mirrored in everyone that you meet and see, the unhealed parts of yourself. And you'll find that especially mirrored in particular people that you love and care about the most. So, we just spent most of this video talking about low vibrational energy. We know exactly what that is now. So we must purposely shift away from that and to do whatever it takes. Healthy lifestyle, cutting out people, places, and things that are hurting you, taking advantage of you, taking from you, and not giving back to you, especially not in healthy ways. Meditation, prayer. There's so many different ways and tools that we can use to raise our vibration. We use music. Like, if we want to get happy, we put on a song that hands down will make us feel happiness every time we hear it. That is purposely raising your vibration, which is what we should be doing all the time, especially when we feel the worst. So that's what I have for you on what it means to be high vibrational. And I just broke down energy and high vibrational and low vibrational, many examples of both. So there should be no question as to what you should be feeding, because obviously the more you feed into the lower vibrational things, the negative things, the more of that comes back to you. But if you're feeding the high vibrational aspects, more of that comes back to you. That's essentially the law of attraction, bottom line. But if you want to know more about it, I've got videos on thinking, thoughts, overthinking, and the law of attraction. So I break it all down for you. But I just covered 3 or 4 different topics in one. And so that's what I have for you today. If you found this information beneficial to you in any way, please give it a thumbs up so it can get circulated. That's how the algorithms work. I do appreciate all of your views and your shares, your comments, and your likes and your subscribes. Thank you so very much. I am so grateful to be doing this. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.